Welcome to Home's Room. Just like Homeroom, we start off our day getting together with our homies, swapping stories, even a little kiss and tell action. This podcast contains language not suitable for younger listeners, topics about sex and mental health. Discretion is advised. Our views are our own. Let class begin. Welcome back to another episode. So when we do our intro music, it plays live in the studio, and Kaitlin was making a face, and I had to try really hard not to laugh at the face she was making, because I know why she was making that face. But before we get to that, Kaitlin, without spilling the beans about what's going on right now, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I love that you have to preface that question, because 9 times out of 10 I will spill the fucking beans. I'm doing all right. Myself and my toddlers are currently obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters.
Okay.
We have watched that movie in the last 48 hours 5 times in my house.
Fair. Okay. That sounds fun. Me and Courtney just watched a movie called The Ritual on Netflix yesterday, and that was pretty good. Like I said, we have a like a master list, and it scored pretty high, so that's fun. I think that this weekend was like one of those. It showed me a lot about me, and it showed me a lot about like where I'm at, and I thought that was fun. And then I kept getting regrounded by what we're gonna do here tonight. And I don't know how you feel. Did you feel that way? Because I felt that way.
Tell me more, homie. What do you mean?
So we have a fun episode for you planned today. And Kaitlin, have you ever heard of the Come Curious podcast?
I have not. Please learn me about it.
Come Curious is a like sex positive podcast. And the two female hosts, super funny, all of this, modern, kind of like our Sex Reimagined girls, like just good energy. They don't take themselves too serious, and it's a good listen. And in one of their episodes that I listened to last week, they did a really fun episode, and it was Truth or Drink. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kaitlin and I could totally do this as an idea. And then I said, hey, Kaitlin, do you want to do Truth or Drink? And what was your response? Did you say yes or no? I'm
immediately interested in the concept as content.
And then what was your next question after you said, okay?
My fucking problematic relationship with alcohol ass said, are we drinking alcohol or are we drinking non-alcohol beverages? And you said non-alcoholic. And I said, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to drink as my non-alcoholic beverage that makes my fucking stomach turn.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so like she could have drank alcohol if she chose to, but I know her relationship with it, so I wasn't going to make her drink alcohol. And I don't drink because I've been vocal about it makes the lining of my stomach on fire, and I don't need that. So it's not worth it. I love you guys, but it's not worth it. So I was like, I'm going to drink something that I don't want to drink. On that episode, they drank hot sauce, and I was like, I also don't want my butthole to be on fire later on, so I'm not drinking hot sauce.
Heartburn City, what?
Right, yeah. So I was like, I'm not drinking hot sauce. And I said, what are you thinking about drinking? And what did you choose to drink?
We both almost...
Oh, wait, whoa. What did you choose to drink, friend?
I chose to drink root beer.
Why did you choose to drink root beer?
Because it literally is disgusting. It is a scum of the earth beverage. Anyone who likes root beer, I judge almost immediately. It makes me nauseous.
So I said, I'm going to drink root beer too. And it was one of those moments like we both were like, hey.
Ruh-roh.
What are we going to do here? But my reason for it is I was younger, and some of you who have been listening from the beginning, there's episodes that aren't on our feed anymore. And those episodes, one of them, I talked about how I was the youngest. And whenever I didn't go to the store because I was outside playing with my friends, or I didn't realize that they were going to the store, my oldest sister was always like in her room, so she didn't go. My middle sister was always the one that was home doing homework. So she would get to go to the store, and she loved root beer. So I would only get root beer because she would go to the store and get it. And they both thought it would be funny one day to kind of hold me down and make me like drink root beer. And since then it's been like, even the smell is like, nope, can't do it. Don't want to. So I also chose root beer. So I will tell you, Kaitlin, my goal right now is to not even open this fucking bottle of root beer. And Courtney can have it tomorrow because I don't want to fucking drink it. So yeah.
I love that for you. I thought about perhaps cheating a little bit and having a glass of ice and pouring my root beer in there so it could like water down over time as we're recording this episode. But I was like, nope. I also had to go to 2 different gas stations today to find this particular bottle of root beer. So don't ever say that I'm not dedicated to the mission of the Homes Room podcast, because I am.
I was looking for that brand as well, and I couldn't find it. And I said, fuck it. I don't care that much because it's going to be gross no matter what. And I don't want to open the motherfucker. So there's that. Without any further ado, Kaitlin, are you ready to play Truth or Drink?
No, but yes. God.
Okay. So we got questions, and our questions came from listeners, but also friends, because you said, you know who would be good? Simo and Alyssa from the Pretzley Truck. And I said, ask your sister, or ask like some people that are close to you, because they'll probably get you some good ones. And, you know, we asked people for these questions. So these aren't our questions. And to me, I wanted them to be blind. So I don't know what any of the questions are except for the ones that I personally picked. And we know which ones those are. So like, we're going to just jump in. Kaitlin, I don't know if you want to do it where we both answer this, or if you want to shoot back and forth where like the other person has to answer, and then I pick one for you and you pick one for me, because that seems a little dangerous and mean, but I don't know. It's up to you.
We're both answering these questions.
That's what I figured. That seems like the safest, fairest way to do this.
Oh, God.
All right. I will let you go first, though. You pick a question.
All right. Our first question comes from our beautiful, wonderful pink friend, Alyssa from the Pretzley Truck. Love you, adore you. Oh, God. She asks, what hate comment secretly hits hard and you have to pause because it strikes a nerve? Answer or drink?
Well, I can answer the truth on that one. I don't get too many hate ones, but the ones that hit the hardest is when it's like somebody is like, you know, like attacking me, like personally, physically, like it just like you're skinny, or like don't skip leg. Those ones, I know for whatever reason, those ones always get me where I'm just like, I don't know why. Like normally 9 times out of 10, I'm like fine, but those ones just get me, and it's like, man, fuck off. Like, I don't know what you want from me. I can't. So that would be my answer, my truth for that one. What about you?
That's a good answer. My answer to that is I'm still figuring this one out. Before I got my nose job, it was any comment that brought attention to my nose. Again, on past episodes, we talked about it, talked about my journey of trying to love my nose, ultimately deciding to pay a lot of money for this new nose. This is beautiful. But now after that, I think years of therapy and lots of money that I've paid in one-on-one sessions have informed me that to my core, I do not want to be seen as somebody who is incapable, weak, lesser than. Yeah. So currently, if you want to talk about like rage bait comments or comments that I like instantly kind of like fixate to, or any comments that are left that are like, do you even know what you're talking about? You know? So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. I mean, makes sense. All right. So, this is so hard because I haven't read the questions yet. So it's like, I don't want to ask that one because that'd be like an unfair one to ask. So it's like, ooh, if you had, I'm gonna ask this one because it's for both. but it's from Simo. But it says, if you had to replace your co-host with anyone, who would it be? And I was like, man, so like if you had to, who would it be?
All right, Simo, this one is not fair. Okay,
That's
if I
what
had,
said.
you can't have the Holmes Room podcast without Matt Holmes. All right. Here's this. How about this, Simo? If I had to replace my co-host with anybody, it would be Simo.
There you go.
Because I adore Simo. As a creative, I love to just sit back and strap in for whatever creative journey Simo is on. But yeah, I really love Simo's insight. And just like you, Matt, she seems to have a larger kind of like openness to otherworldly experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I
can see
don't.
that.
So, joke's on you, Simo. It would be you.
Right. And then you're sitting here playing truth or drink with bad drinks.
What about you, Matt?
I like, my gut wants to say like Courtney because it would be fun, but I know she would never do it. So I don't want to say her because she would never do it. And that feels like a cop out answer. But if I had to say, it's another guest that I just had because I just like love the energy that I got. But Heather Harrington, she was like fun and she like we just vibed. So I guess her.
What's up, Heather?
Yeah.
All right, next question. Name someone you still have beef with and why, or drink.
Well, that's not fair because I don't hold grudges. I don't know who I still have beef. Let me think, I guess. I don't know.
Mind you, this is also a question that one of my friends gave because they know I hold grudges. So it's kind of biased towards my response.
It is. And it's like, man, I got to think about this. Somebody I still have beef with, but this it's probably the only one I could say. When I was in school in Wyoming, there was a guy like halfway through, 3/4 of the way through. I was finally in the class that like my degree was for, doing all the things I wanted to do, and like it was like, fuck yeah, like this is where I want, this is what I've been working to, like the fun. I don't have to do any of the like classroom work really. Like the classroom work is a smaller portion of it and it's hands-on in the shop, building what you want to build for you, not like doing the dumb shit that they are like, prove competency here kind of shit. And so I wasn't like, I didn't want to be a shop manager or class manager or any of that stuff like I was before, because I was like, this is where I'm here to focus on like learning my craft for me. And this guy was just like, he just had an issue with me. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. And he got in my face and he was like, he said, did you use this tool? And I was like, dude, I've been working on this all day. Why the fuck would I have even had that tool out? Like, it doesn't even make sense. I wouldn't use that for this. And he was like, you know what? You're such an arrogant fucking punk. And I was like, cool, you're a dickhead. And then like kind of walked away. So that guy, that's who I would probably like still have a beef with. Cause it's like, I don't know why you like, why? Cause I didn't like knuckle under you cause you were a dummy. I don't know. Like whatever, dude, go be a shop manager over there. Leave me alone. That guy.
Period.
Yeah. What about you, friend?
I will only say a first name.
Okay.
Maybe that's cheating. I feel like if we're not answering with like full transparency with our full chest, that might be a little bit cheating, but we kind of get into some areas of like potential litigation that I'm not comfortable opening. So sorry, friend that gave me this question. Hope that's okay. I still have beef with a girl named Desiree from high school because Desiree, she didn't like that I was dating a boy that she liked. Okay. She got her older sister. And when I say older, we were 16 at the time. She got her in her 20s older sister to text me from a number that I didn't know and talk shit. Okay. I told my dad at the time, I'm getting these threatening text messages from this unknown number. And I watched him whip open his laptop, pull out his credit card, and go to like a open source, like Yellow Pages, White Pages type of website and pay $17 to find out who was the phone holder for that number. And I recognized the last name. I was like, oh, I know exactly who this is. So after I confronted the older sister on text message, the next time I saw Desiree in class, because my dad always said, if you throw the first punch in a fight, you're getting in trouble. But if you also don't throw the last punch in the fight, you're getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So I was trying to toe the line because all I cared about was getting in trouble with my dad. So I walked up to Desiree in chemistry. What's up, Matt Bunch? She was our chemistry teacher and the girls softball coach at the time. I walked up to her. I was like, hit me, girl. You wanna tell your older sister to send me threatening text messages from an anonymous number? Hit me. And it really just resulted in two teenage girls screaming at each other. And then Coach Bunch walked in and said, get down to the principal's office. So that was the closest I have ever gotten in a fight. Since then, we never had any type of like clarifying conversation. There was never any apology type thing. But that is still someone to this day that I have beef with.
So times have changed just a smidge. So it might not work as well. But younger me, and like, I'm not condoning violence. However, younger me got the same message from my dad is like, you can't, if you throw the first punch, it's a problem. But if you're not the one ending it, then it's also a problem. So, a lot of times when you get in trouble because you threw the first punch, it's physically a punch. Nobody sees somebody push somebody and push somebody else, because that's usually how it starts. It's literally the first punch. So you put your hands in like a diamond, like you're doing like the little diamond push-ups, and it's just enough room, a little bit smaller, just enough room for a nose, and you push their face backwards, and they will swing every fucking time. Because how do you not? And I shit you not, every fight that I've almost ever been in may have been instigated by that move. Maybe not. But
Shout out
every time.
Filing that one away for later.
They get super mad and can't help but swing. And everybody's like, well, yeah, I mean, he pushed you, but he didn't punch you. Like, you could have pushed him back. You could have said something like, don't touch me. You didn't need to like throw a punch. And I don't know why it works, but it does. So there's that. Anyway, fair. Fuck that girl. All right. If I turned into an animal every time I got mad, which animal would I be?
So I'm answering this in the context of me, right?
No.
Or you?
Me.
Okay. If you got I think if you turn into an animal every time you got mad, I think that you would be a mouthy as hell like rooster.
Yeah.
Who's just yapping cock-a-doodle-doo at the top as loudest as your little lungs could comprehend, but the same like could never instigate or never like get aggressive with the poking. Yeah. That's what I think personally.
I can see that.
All right.
You know, like, have you ever seen the like whatever that, like, it looks like kind of like a beaver, but it's like way bigger. It's like one of the most aggressive animals. Like, it's a rodent, but it's one of the most aggressive I wish I could remember what it's called, but it literally, like, it's huge. It's like the size of it almost looks like a fucking
capybara.
Yeah, that thing. That's what you're.
How did I know?
I don't know, but that thing, just simply because it's like just a big version of like a small thing that can be aggressive, but like and then it's just like out of fucking nowhere, this thing is like on top of you, and you can't get it off, and it can handle itself. So yeah, that's what I see.
I respect the shit out of that answer, and honestly, I was fearful that it was going to be something else that it was going to make me like question, what does my friend Matt actually think about me? But no, that was good. Also, we're 20 minutes into this podcast episode and we have not cracked open a root beer.
Yeah, my goal is to not. So
same. So I also like kind of toe the line of. I believe at some point there might be a question that makes me like weigh my options of what is my level of shame and public embarrassment versus my dislike for root beer. I'm very interested to navigate this question live here on the Homes Room podcast.
Okay. What you got?
All right. So this next question, so for this next question, let's go to Simo, and I will pick a question that's for Matt, and you can pick a question that's for Kaitlin. Okay. Matt, who is the most inappropriate guest you wish you could book on the podcast just to see what Kaitlin would say?
Oh, goddamn.
That's a really good one, Simo.
That is a really good one. Damn, that's a really good one. Oh, that's hard. There's so many like good options that would like make you turn red, but also like you'd be like, oh yeah. I guess I would have to say, I guess a dream world where like I probably would never get this guest, but like it's somebody that you would probably like be just as much like enamored with as like, oh my god, Whitney Cummings I think would be a fucking like amazing guest that would make you like blush, but also would just be like super fun.
Oh my god, that's like a dream.
That's what I said.
That is, yes.
That's why I started podcasting, because I just enjoyed her podcast.
100% I agree with that as a response. Absolutely, she would say some off the cuff shit that would be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I also like, I've seen some of the podcast like interviews that she's given, just because inherently I consume a lot of like comedian based podcasts in general. Mm-hmm. She is so inappropriate. Oh my gosh. That's such a good answer.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Would you rather be shadow banned forever or be sponsored by a cringy male targeted brand?
Oh, fuck. I would rather be sponsored by a cringy male targeted brand and have reach and be a welcome familiar face and still welcome in the algorithm.
Okay.
Because I would do the bare minimum to get my money, to get my shmoney from said cringy male targeted brand. And then as soon as I was contractually obligated or could turn on them, I'd out them for being misogynist-ish brand. And I know that's why she freaking asked that question, because that's typically the content that I post on TikTok. But no, I would rather do that and have like maybe some temporary blowback from people saying like, oh, she sold out, because this is now a brand or a company that she has a brand deal with, so she sold her soul for the check.
Having to deal with those hate comments then too, but okay.
Then be shadow banned, because I'm a yapper. I want other people to hear me yap.
Fair. All right.
That's a good one.
That was both of them were good. Thank you for that, Simo. So I lost it. Where did it go? I just found a good one, and then I laughed at like your answer to that because it was funny. What have I ever said on the show that you've had to take a breath and move on because it would have started a fight between us?
Oh shit, dude. I don't know that there's ever specifically been something that would start a fight. If there's ever been something that you have said that like my gut instinct is to disagree with, I pause and I just ask like maybe a clarifying question.
Yeah.
or ask for additional information about your perspective. And 9 times out of 10, we're saying the same thing. You're just way more graceful and tactful about it.
I don't know about that.
Or you put a new thought or a new concept or a new perspective about a hot topic that we're discussing. You frame it in a completely new way that makes me just want to put my fucking iPad and microphone down and just walk away for a minute to process.
Fair.
I don't believe that there's ever been something where I'm like, I can't genuinely react to this take or this position because it'll start a fight.
Yeah.
But there have been perspectives that both of us have given on past episodes where we've kind of like challenged or like asked for additional information on. Definitely. So there's that.
This is Safe Space Podcast, and that's actually one of the things that we just shouted out in our 100th episode, is that it's a safe space, and like we've grown, and like it's always been a place where like you don't feel bad for saying something or speaking up, and like it's never like, well, fuck you, I guess I'm just gonna sit over here. Like that's literally I'm pretty sure that's one of the clips that we will have posted for the show to promo it, because that's an integral part. So for me, I can honestly say like the only times that I ever have to take a breath when you say something is when you generalize like a female perspective and don't give like even the smallest amount of space for a response. And then you keep going, and then I can't even respond to that thing. And it's like, okay, so like I get it, but also like that's not like the standard. It might be like your like lived experience, but that doesn't mean that it's everyone's. And those are like probably the only times where I'd be like, okay, walk that back. And like, I can understand your perspective, so I don't challenge it, but it's like, maybe realize, and I think that's just me in general with anybody, but like, there's been moments where like, maybe that's what it is. But that's, again, like we try to hear each other out, and like we do that in real time for the listeners. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of just what I got.
Granted, there might be a little bit of like experience bias that's playing into our answers, because it wasn't always like that. Like maybe if I went back and listened to like episode 1 through 20, I could have an example of like, I was still trying to figure out who Matt was. Granted, we're definitely over 100 episodes. We're on episode 102, 103 at this point. So we've also grown as people, and we've also grown in our friendship and in our co-hosting relationship too. So I'll own that. We can own that little bit of bias.
Yeah. That's what I tried to think back to like the beginning. And those are the things that would frustrate me in the beginning, where I'd like stop recording and be like, God damn it, I fucking hate when like people do that. But it's not you specifically, it's just an in general thing. So like, that's about it.
And it won't be the last time that I'm accused of and will own that I speak in generalizations sometimes. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. It's just a thing. All right. What's your next one?
My next one. Oh, God. If you could swap lives with me for a day, what is the first thing that you would do?
I saw that one on there and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to ask that one, because it like, or if I just want to wait and see if she asks it, and then like if there's nothing else and I can't find another one. It's gonna sound really, really fucking silly, but like honestly, I'd like, if I'm waking up as you, first thing I'm doing is like the mirror and brushing that fucking amazing hair, because your hair is like ridiculous, and it's like I don't understand. It's like her hair is always thick, it's always shiny, it's always like perfectly like curled and highlighted. It's got to be like the most like satisfying and rewarding like whatever, like back in the day when like like the like early like 40s 50s movies where like that girl's getting ready for bed and she's sitting in front of the mirror like brushing her hair 47 times. Yeah. And it's like she's counting the stroke. It's like that, like it's got like, I just feel like it's like that moment where it's just that like
is so
it
funny.
is what it feels like.
Only because that is honestly something that I'm so like self-conscious as a co-host. Like I understand that in video clips, I'm constantly messing with my hair because if just like this part's curled and this part's straight, it looks weird. It bothers me. And I can't, we're also at the perfect time of the day where my Adderall is wearing off. So if I hyperfixate on how I look, I feel like I'm not going to be taken as seriously while I'm giving a perspective about something, whatever. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Also, I pay a lot of money for my hair to look this good, so thank you. Yeah. That's a nice ROI.
Well, it works. It works. All right.
I'm answering the same question, right?
Yep.
All right. So if I woke up as Matt Holmes, the first thing I would do was go have some hangs with your wife, Courtney. Because still to this day, I have not been able to like sit down. Still to this day, I haven't been able to sit down and have one-on-one in-person hangs with you.
Yeah.
We still have not, as of this episode, met in real life.
At least. Yeah, we talk at least. So
we talk, we text, all those things. But I also just, as much as I know about Courtney, as much as I know about your wife, I would love to just sit and chill and hang and maybe watch a movie, like, hang out with Courtney. That's the first thing I would do.
I like it. I like it.
Oh my God.
Answer. I'm glad you're still like hung up on that. That's hilarious. All right.
Holy shit.
Oh, let's see. This is such a fun list because there's like the questions we got from all of the people involved are relatively nice. I don't feel like they're hard to answer necessarily. Like it's not anything where like I'd be like, oh my God, I'm too embarrassed to say that, which is good because I really don't want to drink this fucking root beer. But it's like they were nice to us, nicer than I thought they were going to be.
There's a couple on there that I'm cracking this root beer open.
Fair. All right. What's the strangest thing you've ever Googled about relationships? And I'm going to give the caveat because I wrote this is one of my questions, that it doesn't necessarily mean like, like, does he love me if just relationships in general? So encompassing like your interaction with another human being. So like if it's like, what does gonorrhea look like? You know what I mean? Like that is part of a relationship in my opinion. So
I'm sure there's some real odd shit in my dating days that I Googled that would be a great answer to this question. But at this point, that was over a decade ago. So the only thing that immediately comes to mind is the oddest thing that I Googled in my marriage, which is, at what point should I look at getting a divorce attorney?
Yeah.
Fully owning, like we've talked about in past episodes, that before my husband and I, about a year and a half ago, before we got into like regular marriage counseling, before we made an investment in our time and in our finances to figure out our communication style, like we're in a different season of life, we're different people, things aren't working. What is happening here? Before we let it kind of descend into that actual point of, at what point should I fucking file for divorce? When should I get a divorce attorney? We got into marriage counseling. I'm very happy to report that we are in a much better, healthier place. No, we are not perfect. Humans inherently are not. But that is probably the most cringeworthy thing that I've ever Googled in the context of my current relationship, longest relationship, and baby daddy marriage. Okay. And one of the Google results that I remember was, the question was, when should I look at getting a divorce attorney? And one of the top responses was, you just Google searched this question.
I love it. So we've been relatively PG as far as honestly this podcast goes, but also this episode. So I play hockey, or I was playing hockey. The floor in the locker room was like unusually wet from like skates or whatever, and like that's not normal. There was like a kid team or something going on, so like the locker rooms were like doubled up more than normal. So I was kind of just like, whatever. And I've never in my life had warts of any kind, like not once. And I ended up with like maybe 5 or 6 all over my feet, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is not a thing. Like, I don't even know what to do with this. And then I like Google search, like, what do you do about warts? What causes them? Because I was trying to figure out what the fuck caused it. And HPV was like one of the things that can cause warts. But there's like, I found out there's like 157 different kinds. So like, they're not all the same, but it is classified as the same thing. So I had to Google, if you have warts on your feet, should you not have sex? Because I was like, I don't want to make it worse. So that's probably the my answer to that one. That's definitely the thing. But in all honesty, it was because I was thinking about my partner and wanted to make sure that I didn't need to just not fucking touch her.
Oh my God. We love a considerate, supportive king. I fear that's an answer that you probably could not have waterboarded out of me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that. Yeah.
That's
Look at you go. As I'm also saying, this is somebody that had to get like 5 or 6 warts frozen off of my hands when I was growing up in middle school.
I never had
sucked.
That was not a thing I've ever had to experience. So I was like, what the fuck? What is this? And then once I figured out what it was, I was like, oh. And for the record, I found out they probably like it came from probably the locker room. And then I got one of those like fucking Equate like freeze off kits, and that was fine. But like legit scared the shit out of me. So what's your next one, Kaitlin? Which one are you picking?
All right, this next one is from Alyssa with the Pretzely truck. What is the closest you have ever come to being arrested or doing something that would get you arrested?
I didn't get cuffs put on me, but I did get put in a car, and I had gotten like walked to said police station for trespassing and stuff like that. And it was like one of those, we were close enough to it and stupid. And they were like, yeah, like, come have a sit with us and like talk. And we were young kids being stupid on bikes. So like, it's like, whatever.
But you were underage, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it was mostly like a scared straight thing both times, I think is what it was. Is like, we're going to do this to make you realize like how scary this situation is. But like, yeah, that, I guess is probably what it is. But also I was moving my fucking car in a parking lot, and I was backing out of a spot, and an old lady fucking flew into the parking lot and ran into my car. And obviously at that point we're in an accident. So like she hit me hard enough that I couldn't pull back into the spot I was in, but at an angle to which like showed that I wasn't all the way, like I was far enough out of the spot that she shouldn't have kept going. But like she hit me at a weird angle where it almost looked like I backed into her, but clearly based off of the situation like that, like you could tell what had happened. And the cop was like, hey, I need your proof of insurance. And I just moved out at 17, so insurance wasn't in my name yet. I was waiting until I got paid. I was getting ready to go out of town for Thanksgiving, so I didn't get paid until after we got fucking back. And I got in trouble for driving without insurance, and he had no choice but to. And he's like, I'm going to give you a warning because you were in a parking lot, but you will have to show up to court, and this is a felony. So,
and it also wasn't your fault. That's
why, yeah, it was shitty. So that was another one. That one sucked. Just so so that those are the instances.
All right, I have a great story for this answer. So once upon a time, back in the day when I was 18, on my 18th birthday, the day that I turned 18, my dad gave me probably a gift card or two, or just put money in my checking account. But the other part of my birthday present was, fuck off, you are kicked off of my car insurance plan because of my speeding tickets. The summer before I turned 18, I got a really bad speeding ticket going from my dad's house to like back to college. Going back to college after Father's Day, mind you. It was a really bad speeding ticket to the point where I had to hire a lawyer. I hired a lawyer. I had a court date. I was supposed to appear in person, but I hired a lawyer, so I didn't have to go. My lawyer was going in my place. Said lawyer that I retained to represent me just didn't show for my court appearance. So I got a letter a month later saying,
Yeah.
you have a bench warrant. You have an
Yeah.
active warrant for your arrest. At that point in time, my dad was a active duty federal agent. There was, before we had everything resolved, there was a dinner that I remember where we're sitting around the table eating dinner, and he just put his fork down and looked at me and said, this entire thing has just aged me so much. You know that I have an ethical duty to report you because you are sitting at my dinner table with an active warrant out for your arrest, right? I was like, sorry, Dad. So ultimately I had to go back down to my college town over summer break. I had to say, what the hell is going on? The lawyer said, oh, well, your best option is to just plead guilty, get the points, and, we'll pay the ticket fines for you. All right, that's fine. So literally 3 days after I go back to my college town to try and resolve my active warrant for my arrest, in my Pontiac G6, loved that little car. I'm coming home from a friend's house. I'm home in my hometown, hanging out with my friends that I haven't seen since high school. I'm leaving their house. Literally, I drive on the highway for a single highway exit. It's less than 5 fucking miles. My headlight is out. As of me leaving my friend's house, my headlight gets out. I get on the highway. I get off the highway at literally the next exit northbound. And I get pulled over because my headlight's out. I sit there. I say, yep, here's my driver's license, insurance, whatever, registration. He goes back to his car, runs my info, and then a second squad car pulls up, lights and sirens. And I'm like, I really hope this dipshit law firm from my college town took care of my fees and took care of all of this so that I'm not going to jail. I literally sent a text to my dad like, I don't know what's happening. I'm probably going to jail, but just know, I try to get this resolved. So knowing now what I know, what happened was he ran my info, saw that, yes, there was still an active warrant for my arrest, reached out to that jurisdiction, verified, is this warrant still active or not? They said, no, she paid her fines. It's not. But I still had the butt pucker moment of a second squad car pulling up. Oh, shit. Literally the next day I went home. Didn't have an active warrant for my arrest. And the next day I went to go fix my broken headlight.
Yeah, I bet.
That's the closest I ever got. God.
All right. We're going to do another one of the SEMO. Like, I'll ask you a question and then you get to ask me one of the other ones. All right. So,
okay.
What's the worst male take you've ever had to clap back at? And did you ever stalk the guy's account later?
Yes.
Also, for the record, realize that we were at like 43 minutes into this episode.
Yes. Okay. So. I know I'm long-winded. I know that Simo asked this because she's seen the TikTok that is to date my best performing.
She did research. She said, TikTok. I'm hitting you both where you fucking live.
Love it. Yes. I had a dude who literally posted, I think we've had a good run with women's rights. Let's get it over with. That's it. We don't need them. And then he steps back from the camera and does a fit check. So I screen recorded it before he deleted it. Fully looked at his profile, was like, is this a good candidate for me to have a clapback to? And sure enough, that is his actual take. 100% that is something that he believes, publicly owns, and posts on the internet. To date, that is a TikTok that last I looked, has over 1.2 million views on TikTok. So that's probably why Simo asked that. That is to date. Yes, absolutely I have. So, all right, Simo, second question for Matt. Matt, name a horror movie you pretend to like, but you secretly think is overrated.
That one's kind of hard. This one's hard only because it's like, it's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Evil Deads and like the older ones are like, and the newer one was like, okay. It was like, there was one scene that grossed me out and I actually almost threw up in. So there's that. But like the newer one was okay. But the older one, like,
Are those zombie movies for those of us who have no
kind of,
idea what
yeah,
you're talking about?
yeah, they're zombie-ish. I don't know, like, it's the Evil Dead. Like, I mean, I like, yes, they are, I guess, zombie adjacent, but it's like reanimated from like a book zombies, not like traditional what you would expect zombies. Like, it's like
Necromancy zombies?
kind of, yeah, like, I guess is what the best way to describe it. But yeah, I would have to say like the Evil Dead are like, they're just goofy and like, um I can't think of the guy's name. Sam Raimi did him, but I can't think of Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell is like the main actor in them, and like he's just ridiculous. And I love Bruce Campbell, but like I just could never, like, I watched one and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And then I watched the second one and I was like, why did I, like, I knew this was gonna, whatever. So yeah, I would have to say The Evil Dead, unfortunately.
Man, Simo's probably MVP. Simo, I think Simo and Alyssa are at a tie
Yeah.
for MVP of question askers. Good
All
Lord.
right. What's your next one? Which one are you gonna ask?
It's your turn, dude.
Didn't I just ask you the? I asked
I
you the one.
asked you Simo's
No.
last question.
Yeah, no. I asked, and that was my return to yours because she gave us the ones that are to us. So you ask me a question now because I asked you one of hers.
Yes, sir. All right. Give me your most embarrassing moment ever or drink.
My most embarrassing moment ever. Well, I mean, I suppose, like, embarrassing to me or embarrassing because it was like in front of people or like people know about it.
Like I'm talking about the single most embarrassing moment of your life. Like for me, I had a readily available answer to this because I've literally lost sleep over how embarrassing this moment was.
You know, this is a very interesting question in the sense that, like, I don't take myself that serious. So things that are embarrassing don't particularly embarrass me because at the end of the day, that just kind of is what it is. I will say there are two moments that come to mind, and one isn't embarrassing. It was kind of, I don't want to say liberating, but like one of those moments where it was like, well, so I have two answers, I guess. Um, the, I was texting Courtney. I was sending her, some maybe like spicy text messages, and I've told this story before. And my coworker guy texted me in between sending her text messages, and I was playing video games from another room,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent him the picture I intended to send her because his was the last text message open. But once I send it, that's kind of what it was, and it could have been worse, but it wasn't. And at that point, it just like was a moment of like body acceptance for me, and like I ended up posting that one to my Instagram, and now like you don't get on Instagram enough to like see that, but um like I've gotten more comfortable posting pictures of me in certain situations, so like I've like blown people's minds sometimes with like, oh my god, I didn't expect to open my Instagram and like see this picture of you, but like, okay, whatever, fine, I see it. If you follow our stories, I did one a little like, which will have been a while ago, but it was about smut, and there's a picture of like my back, and the like silhouette of me is lit up by green light, and like that was actually a picture of me that I took. So like it's just, it is what it is. But if I had to like pick the most embarrassing moment, this girl I had a crush on, I think I was in like 7th grade. Uh, she she was like one of those girls that like you kind of give her crap and she gives you crap back, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
like everybody is like they like each other, but we're both like, no, we're just friends. It was one of those moments, and I was sitting on a table in like science class or something, I don't remember, and we were talking and people were giving a shit, and then my friend went to go say something funny, and I didn't laugh, so he like pinched my side, and as he pinched my side, as I'm sitting here trying to talk to this girl, definitely trying to hold in some pressure relief, if I can, if you follow what I'm saying. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
because I was sitting on the table, it like you could feel the vibration through the table. And then she just like immediately covered her mouth. And then like I was looking at her in that moment, and it was like, yep, that just happened. And then obviously it's like, oh,
So you farted in front of your crush.
Yeah, it was, and more than just her, but yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Everybody farts, Matt.
Yeah, but in seventh grade,
valid.
that was
that's like the end of your life. Like everything is, oh my God, I farted. Yeah. I think, yeah. All right. I have about 9 years ago, I went on a lake trip with my now husband, his family, and several other like small town families, whatever. It was like an annual trip that they did. We rented a pontoon boat. We had beers. We had Jello shots, whatever. My husband still to this day has a friend that it does not matter what he says or in the tone that he says it. I always think it's fucking funny. So it's about 2 p.m. on our lake day. Nobody's like super sober except our responsible boat permitted driver, whatever. And my husband, now husband, then new recent boyfriend, asks his friend, hey, what happened to Shadow, your childhood dog? And friend yells back across like the circle of we're all in pool noodles, says, oh, Shadow got into antifreeze in the garage.
Oh.
And the tone that he said it, the way that he said it, I busted up laughing. I thought the way that he said it was the funniest thing. And every single person that we were with that heard that exchange looked at me and was like, what is wrong with you? And even my now husband was like, no, Kaitlin, no. I I have the type of brain that like, if it's not actively distracted while I'm trying to fall asleep, it will literally be like, hey, remember that one time that you laughed at so-and-so like friend's dog dying and everybody heard you laugh about his dog getting into antifreeze? Embarrassing.
Yeah, I feel that one.
But it's not my fault. He's so funny. The way he says things is so funny. Still to this day, he's very funny. It's just his delivery of us telling us that his childhood dog got into antifreeze was...
And thus the birth of your dark humor. And I'm sure.
Yep.
So I find it interesting that you have stayed away from the questions that you yourself brought to this category. And I didn't look at them because I'm just scanning the list and they were at the top. So I scanned back up to the top, and I find it really funny that you have not, like, you stayed away from those. However, I will ask you, and this one is like, I already know what my answer is to this. So I think it's funny. Have you ever wet the bed with your partner there?
Easy answer. Nope.
Yeah. See, I gave you an easy one because I saw those and I was like, I'm gonna make her sweat a little bit, make her think
Thank you. Oh God, I was like, am I reaching for this beer bottle or what?
So my answer is yes. So when me and Courtney, I'm pretty sure we had just got our like 2-bedroom house maybe, and like first like kind of started like the beginning of our relationship. I had one of those dreams of like where like you're thinking about going to the bathroom constantly, and like your dream just keeps popping up like toilets and bathrooms, and it's like your cue that, oh shit, I probably should go, like wake up and go to the bathroom. I did not, for whatever reason. And then when I like felt the moment of like relief, I woke up and was like, did I just, oh my God. So obviously she's laying in the bed next to me. So like, it's not like I could get up and do anything. So like, I was like, man. So like, obviously I got up and went to the bathroom then, but that's not like, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I don't want to tell her. And this is weird. So I just like fake slept until she got up, which she sleeps way later than I do. So like for like hours, just like fake slept so that when she got up, I could be like, hey, I'm just going to, wash the sheets. I think we just probably need to, like clean it. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to clean up my side of the bed, and just like found every reason to be in the room to like clean stuff while she was like, okay, whatever, fine, and yeah. So I don't know that she even knew that it ever happened, but she does now.
Dog, you really hate root beer, huh?
I do really fucking hate root beer. And I was
really
like,
hate root beer
I would rather answer that question than drink root beer, but also I would rather answer that question than make you drink root beer, because I hate root beer that much that I don't even want to force you to drink it by asking you one of these terrible questions, which you could ask yourself, but you don't want to drink it too. So that's how much I don't like root beer.
Yep. Nope. Nope.
What's your next one?
All right. Man, these are like starting to get...
Yeah, you were lucky that we had so many, because we would have been down to the ones that you brought, and you would have been real fun.
I would have yep. Okay, so
shout out again to Simo and Alyssa for saving the day.
Seriously, and my friends too that gave us answers as well that I'm intentionally trying to stay away from because you know me too well. Okay. I will say this because I think I might be able to guess your answer to it. What's the weirdest habit I have that you've secretly noticed?
You know, like, ironically, you're like a toucher. And that's probably like the only thing that I could think of is like when you're just kind of like in limbo, I guess. Like it's your hair, or it's your face, or it's your lip, or it's your nose, or it's your forehead. Like it's something, or it's like the microphone or your necklace, or like it's something somewhere. And obviously I don't usually see your hands. However, recently your camera's been tracking your goddamn hands. So it'll just be like on your hands for like 5 seconds, and it'll be like, oh, okay. Yep. And I don't know why it does that, but okay, there you go.
I think a special mention of editing Matt, who's my separate Matt Holmes podcast co-host persona, that I say, sorry, editing Matt. Editing Matt once sent me a text message that said, yeah, ever since you got your nose job,
yeah,
I don't have to edit out noise from your end of audio of you breathing directly into your microphone. My septum was so deviated that my breathing through my nose was getting picked up by my microphone. I had no idea until, and maybe you didn't, I don't know. I had no idea that it was even a thing or a blip or a concept on your radar until after I got my nose job. It was fully healed. We returned to recording episodes and you were like, yeah, you know, editing's been a little bit easier since you got your nose job because I don't have to edit out your breath noises.
we record on software, and her mic's really like the volume on her mic is hard to adjust on her end. So I have to do it in post, which is fine. It's not a big deal. And our channels open and close when we start talking. So it would be bad enough that it would close my channel and like quiet my mic to give way to her mic. And because hers was already louder, it would like all of a sudden be like just like nose breathing. And it's like I'm trying to think about what was happening, and I look at it and it's like you're just sitting there listening, and it's like, oh my god, it's her breathing. That sucks. And then it was like, you know, since you've gotten that done, I have not heard that at all, and like not even a little bit. So it was
my left nostril was 98% obscured by my deviated septum, so thank God I got that fixed. I don't have like a weird habit that of yours that I've noticed. I think sometimes I can tell that while I'm giving 9 times out of 10 a long-winded response to a question that you've asked me, I can tell based on your facial expression when you're like ready for me to complete the thought and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But I also fully love and adore that about you. I think that's a cue, like a co-host cue that I've picked up. And definitely one that helps keep me from being long-winded.
Like that. There you go. Follows your hands everywhere.
But and I also am somebody that does a terrible poker face. You can always tell what I'm thinking on my face. So I love that about you. I don't think it's a weird habit. I think it's a strength. So thanks, Matt.
It's always funny. And like the clips, it always looks like I'm so just disinterested, and it doesn't matter who the person is talking on here because I'm just paying attention. And I'm looking, like, if I was like looking up, maybe it wouldn't be as bad, but I'm like looking down at my computer, which is where my like webcam is. So it looks like I'm just so disinterested, but I'm like my eyes are off. I'm not like, I am looking at you, but I'm not like looking at you. I'm like taking in what you're saying. So like, I'm hearing what's happening. It's like, oh yeah, that,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So like, no, that's kind of the thing. All right. We got, I think, one more each, and then we can make this happen. All
We were
right.
so close, dog.
We were, and we're getting to the point where like there's only really like fun questions. So like they're they're good. We can do that. If you could rewatch one awkward moment in your relationship in slow motion, what would it be?
In one of my very first dates with my now husband, he showed up to pick me up at my dad's house in khaki shorts, boat shoes, and a long sleeve button up dress shirt. It was the first time that I saw him after we did 2.5 months of like distance, kind of, when we first started talking. When I walked up to him and tried to like love on him and give him a hug and be like, oh my gosh, you're actually in real life person. One of the first things that he did, I guess I had toothpaste on the corner of my mouth. He didn't even give me a hug. He didn't like jump hug me, like this romantic idea of what I thought of like this, we're reuniting after months apart. I thought I was going to jump hug and it was going to be this big romantic moment. He literally just reached up with his thumb and like took my toothpaste off the corner of my mouth. I was like, well, all right, I guess that's how we're starting date night.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. That's sweet of him.
What about
caring
yours, Matt?
individual. All right, so I have two because they're kind of tie. One is wholesome and one is definitely not wholesome. The wholesome one, it was I had a really low car, and I was leaving my now wife's like mom's house, and she said, drive safe, take care of her, kind of thing. And I was like, okay, whatever, fine. And she lived in a rural area where like the roads have the road and then it just kind of like drops off. And she like my windows were like limo black, so I can't see anything at night out of my window. So turning a corner like that was extra fucking like hard to do. And I didn't turn wide enough. I just turned like I normally would, and I slid off the road into one of the like kind of ditches. So then we had to go get her parent to like come outside and help pull my car out.
Oh,
and
God.
It was a lowered car, so it's like scraping and like getting yanked, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst moment. So that sucked. But also similar situation right after we kind of first started dating and whatnot, we went to go eat at a Dairy Queen or whatever, because it was like right by my house, with like one of her friends. And I was like meeting some of her friends for like the first time. So it was like, whatever, fine. Like we were at that level. And her friend was like, have you guys like done it yet? And we both kind of looked at each other like, I don't know how to answer that. And I was like, I don't know you. So like, I don't know this is your friend. And then her friend looked at like Courtney and then looked at me, and she was like, oh my God, you just did. And both of us turned like fucking red. And like at that point I was like, well, shit. Like I don't know what to like, how it just always sticks out in my mind, because it's just like, oh, and it would just be so funny to watch because we were so young then. Like I don't know
what a fun
like,
bonding experience for
exactly.
you both to experience in real time together too.
Yeah, it was fun. All right, what's your last one?
All right. What is the most ridiculous lie you have ever told as a kid or growing up?
I got in trouble a lot as a kid. Mm-hmm. So like there's the list is long and many, like so many stupid things to try and get out of whatever. Like the first one that comes to mind is like like the like opposite of a lie, where like we had like fabric chairs, and I decided, I want to like see how sharp this knife is. So I slid the knife across the chair and it cut it. And it was like, I guess satisfying. I don't know. I don't remember. And I did it like probably like 9 more fucking times. And then when they asked me, I was like, I just wanted to see how sharp the knife was.
Oh my God.
It's like, I mean, it was a lie, but it wasn't a lie. I don't know. That one definitely, that one was fun. And it's a story that gets told all the time.
Of course. The most ridiculous lie that I ever told was when I was in high school. I have always been a long torsoed, gangly limbed motherfucker. So growing up in my teenage years, born and raised in the Bible Belt, I had one math teacher, Jill Picard. Yeah, I'll name you. She's now retired. She would always pull me aside in the hallway and pick on me because my shorts were too short. Our dress code rule in high school was if you put your hands down by your sides, your shorts had to be longer than your middle finger. And I was so long and gangly that if I wore shorts that actually went to that length, they would be fucking Bermudas. What high schooler wants to show up? I was not the type of high schooler that wanted to show up and make the choice to wear Bermudas. Okay. So my most ridiculous lie was that I told Jill Picard, well, actually, Miss Picard, I got diagnosed by my doctor with a medical condition of longitudinosus. And I am medically somebody that gets to wear short shorts. She knew it was BS. I knew it was BS. She was the only person that always dress coded me. She never like called my dad or like, sent me to the principal's office or whatever, but she always was chirping about the length of my shorts. And I would always say, sorry, Miss Picard, it's my longitudinosus.
What did she teach? What did you say she taught?
Math. So I already had beef with her because I hated math.
Were you, like, I wonder if it was like she knew you were smart and she wanted you to be like a little bit more like conservative, only because you didn't need to be somebody that got by on looks. Like you could get by on like your brain too. And like it was that like, I don't want to say like backwards thinking where like, it would be like, oh, you don't have to show skin to get like, where you want to get in life. Like you're smart enough kind of situation.
It was more so heat and humidity of my county is right next to the Mississippi River. So humidity was always 99% of the humidity index. Knowing what I know about myself and being diagnosed with ADHD late into adulthood, it was absolutely my ADHD. I hated math. I didn't feel a sense of urgency about doing it. As long as I had a C in that class, I didn't give a fuck. Yeah. But she knew I was smarter than a C. Yeah. So maybe it was a little bit of that.
It's what it seems like. It seems like if it like just simply because if she never actually like my sister has been sent home for that shit and she's the same way. So like when they want to pull that card, they will pull that card. But anyway, I just want to say, guess what? Neither one of us had to drink fucking root beer. Both bottles are still closed. You never heard it.
I'm so happy. I'm literally going to throw this in the trash when I'm done.
Right? Yeah. Best $2 ever not used. But yeah, so thank you for listening. If you want us to do another round of truth or drink, Caitlin's shaking her head no, but like you guys send in questions. That's how we have this. Maybe we'll do like a truth or drink like random in the episode kind of thing where it's like you send them in and it's like truth or we have to do something else kind of situation. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you for listening and thank you for like hanging out and just listening to us yap like Caitlin says, because she's trendy. I'm not trendy, so I don't say yap. But yeah, like follow us on all the places, the TikToks, the Instagram, the Facebook, Threads if you want. I don't do the Threads thing. Like we have a Threads, but it's like the most useless app I've ever come across in this situation, so that's annoying. Make sure you're subscribed and following. They changed the way that the information comes through, so like streams and downloads is now its own thing, so that's how most of you listen. Actual listens now doesn't track the same way, so it makes it seem like nobody listens, even though I know that that's not true. So yeah, we need the support. So give us some reviews, give us some questions, give us some comments, whatever. On Spotify I think is where you can do the comments now, so like yeah, do those things. Other than that, bye. Root beer sucks. The bell is about to ring. If you want to drop us a voice message or simply ask a question, you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes below. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find us.
Theme music by Kinsey. More music available on Spotify. Remember, every day is a class. Go learn something.
And root beer sucks.
Mm-hmm.